Hi everybody, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So in this video, I wanted to show you how my mom would do her makeup when I was like, young, between 80 and 85, how she would do her makeup. And then I am going to update her makeup look. Of course, I'm going to be using my own face because my mother is no longer with us. But we're just gonna hop right in. Let me find the right color. So my mom thought that you had to wear eyeshadow that was the color of your eyes. So she had blue eyes. So she wore blue eyeshadow. And my mom, bless her heart, she did the most basic as possible that you can do. And I bought her blue. And I don't know where I put it, so we're just going to work with Morphe. First of all, she didn't use any foundation, no powder, no primer, nothing like that. So she would, I'm going to use a makeup brush, but she would use the sponge that came. She would use the sponge that came with the, whatever she was using, Maybelline or whatever. So, but I'm going to use a brush just because that's what I have. And her blue was a little more silvery than this blue I'm using. But I just want to show you. So that right there. A slap of eyeliner. Pretty much like that. And she would wear like more of an orangey color, but I don't really have anything that color because I don't wear that color at all. So we'll do that. And then she would wear rouge. She wouldn't call it blush, but it was what it was. But it was rouge, and then just a touch of rouge, like that. And that's how my mom would do her makeup. Now, she would obviously do both sides of her face. I'm just showing you on one side, because I'm getting ready to wipe this off. Well, we'll do the whole thing just because it'll make more sense and it's not like it takes that long. So we'll do the whole thing. So anyway, that's it. That's how my mom would do her makeup in the 80s. And for the 80s, this is fine. For an older woman in the 80s, this was perfectly fine. So she would have been in her mid to late 40s. So anyway, this was my mom's makeup. Now we're going to clean this off, and then I am going to update my mom's makeup look. Okay, clean that up. So we're going to update her look. I'm going to use some of this under my eye and on my lid. So I got some issues with my lid right now. Okay. And I gotta go damp my beauty blender. Oh, you know what? First of all, let me put my Girl Scout cookie headband on first. Okay. Now let me get back to this. So we are going to stick with the blue because my mom So my mom had blue eyes. She had beautiful, beautiful blue eyes. And so, but she thought that you had to, your makeup, your eyeshadow had to match your eyes. Like if you had green eyes, you wore green eyeshadow. If you have brown eyes, you wore brown eyeshadow. That, of course, is not the way it is. No, we're not going to do it that way. My mom had really, and I know she was a product of, it was a product of her learning, you know what I mean? There was really, except for maybe in Hollywood, there was no such thing as contouring and stuff back then. I'm going to use one of my pads. I have decided that I prefer Beauty Blender, a damp Beauty Blender, to these, even though I still do like these. But I'm going to use this because this is what I have, like, handy. Trust the process. I know I always tell y'all this. And, ooh, the ducks are making some noise out there, flying around like crazy. And I really made myself kind of orangey. I prefer, because I can always, well, you can always lighten it up. You can always darken it up too. But I prefer to do maybe a little too much and then lighten it up, because then I'm creating more coverage for the parts I want coverage for. So we went and looked at some properties yesterday. It always depresses me when we do that. I just get frustrated and annoyed and I hate it. And then I'm like, frick it, I don't even want a house. You know what I mean? I don't even want a house anymore. I just want to live in the Home Goods sign at the top of the building of the plaza that Home Goods is in. Because it's a pain in the butt. I hate it. I hate it. And I have to speak to a realtor tomorrow, and they always annoy me because I'll ask a question and they never want to answer the question. They're always like, well, let's worry about that later. No, let's worry about it now, because your answer is going to determine whether or not this conversation continues, you know? So we're going to go back in with that blue I used. But I'm going to cover my whole lower lid with it. But yeah, I hate that when I call the realtor. Not that I've called this realtor. This was the last time we tried to work with a realtor. And I had asked her a question. She's like, well, let's not worry about that right now. Yeah, we're going to worry about everything. Every question I have is important. It's important enough for me to ask. It's important enough for me to have an answer for. Now, I'm working with these blues in this Morphe palette. This is 35V. And I know it doesn't make any sense because we've got all these wonderful, usable, everyday colors, and then these. It's a little weird in my opinion, but I'm going to go in with this darker blue right up here. But yeah, I taught the realtor the last time. I would ask her a question and her response was like, well, let's not worry about that right now. And so I stopped calling her. I'm like, okay, well, and then I would tell Eric, and then he would get frustrated, and we would just like, ugh, we're just not going to buy a house. So then we want to use his VA loan. And I was warned about this, that agents are going to try and talk you, you know, lenders and real estate agents and brokers are going to try and talk you out of using a VA loan because it's extra work and they don't want to do the extra work or whatever. And I'm like, so I'm going to talk to someone tomorrow, and if she or he is like, no, you don't want to use the VA loan, I'm going to say, okay, well, then we're going to disconnect this call because that's what I wanted. That's what we want to do. And if you're not willing to work with us on that, then there's no point in continuing the conversation. And that's just going to have to be how it is. I'm just going to have to be a bit of a booger about things, it seems like. So if you can see, I'm doing the outside in a bit darker blue. And hopefully this all makes sense in the end. Okay. I hate it. I know a lot of people like it when it's light out late. I hate it when it stays light out late. I like it to get dark at 5 o'clock. It's my favorite. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a really light color. Just right there. See that? Okay. But anyway, I hate talking to real estate agents, car dealerships, anything like that. And the car dealership drives me crazy because anytime I go in there to like get an oil change or whatever, like, are you interested in trading in? No. And they still, well, here, let's talk to a salesperson. I'm not interested in it. Leave me alone. It's just, everybody's trying to make a buck. Sticking it in me. Sorry if that was crude, but that's how I feel. A little more drama right up there. So yeah. So I'm going to go in with this light color with my finger and just dab it in there a little bit more. And it's slightly frosty, so that's nice. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the eye. Okay, now as I said before, my mom liked oranges and stuff, and they looked good on her, but oranges don't work on me. So that's not the shade of lip color I'm going to put on. But first we're going to do the blush. And I used that cream blush before, which my mom, she would have enjoyed a cream blush. But I'm not going to use a cream blush. I'm going to use my Alice in Wonderland Talk to the Flowers blush palette that looks like that. And I just go all in like that. So it's just a surprise every time. And I'm start high on my cheek. And then brush her down like this. Don't worry, we're gonna calm that down a bit. So Spooky Empire was in Orlando this weekend, and I did not go. I was completely uninterested. There was nothing going on at it that I was interested in, because I don't like any of the guests. And for me, for conventions, I have to, I mean, I like the guests, they're fine, but none that I really wanted to meet. Okay, so that is the blush right there. And then we're gonna go in with my Alice in Wonderland T Anyone Bronzen palette right here, which is the same deal, it's 4 shades. And I'm gonna use my blush brush. Now bronzer is kind of important for a look as my mom is concerned, as far as my mom is concerned, because she was a tanner. She was out by the pool or the beach every day while I was in school. So I need to give it a little bit of a tan vibe. And now I'm gonna go, I'm using mostly Wet n Wild right now for the face. This is my Fantasy Makers Wet n Wild contouring zombie contour right here. I'm gonna go in here with the white, just like that. And a little bit right here. And just brush it out. Okay, now we're gonna deal with her lip color. So my mom liked oranges and stuff, like I said before. I don't do orange. It doesn't look good against my yellow skin. So we're gonna change up what the lip color would be. And we're gonna do a muted tone, a mauve. That didn't add a ton of color, so I'm gonna go in with the slightly darker one. Okay. Now we've got to do the eyeliner. First I'm going to fill in the brow, because I got to fill in my brow. Now the eyeliner. We are going to do black, of course. Then a little bit of mascara. And I just did. See what I just did? Okay. My mom had really short hair, so. But anyway, that's about it. That is, I updated my mom's makeup look. If I could get a hold of her face now, I would do something like this for her. But yeah. I guess I could have done one side and then kept the other side, her very 80s look, but it's more fun to do the whole face. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me go and check out what else Gypsy Rose is up to. I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.